What seems to me one of the things you did as editor of SAQ is to, both give a regularity and coherence to the journal, and also to expand its scope, like expand it from really a Duke community authorship to a much broader national and, for some issues, international basis. And I was wondering, I mean, I'd be interested in just hearing how you went about doing that, expanding so that it's became something not at all cliquish, but in fact a very broad and open group of editors and authors.
Well, like you said, I wanted to make sure that we expanded the journal, given its history. It seems like an illustrious journal. And I was told, and I believe this, the journal was the longest consecutive running journal in the U.S. Only the Yale Review or something was older. I'm not sure that's true, but I was more than willing to believe it because it seemed like a historic job. So I wanted to take that history and do something with it, which is to say, to make the journal sort of aggressively theoretical, politically interventionist, and to give it a Duke base without restricting it to the Duke community. Mm-hmm. But I will also say there were moments when my Duke colleagues were phenomenal, when we'd come through, somebody would cancel, and people would be on the spot. Mm-hmm. So the kind of the issue on No More Scholarships, on Numbers of the Earth, somebody canceled at the very last moment. I just put those things together. So it was a combination of that and trying to, internationalize the journal. I just felt like SAQ had such an illustrious history. We could do all this stuff. And this is the benefit of not knowing what you're doing. Right? I mean, you take risks because you don't know better. And later on I learned that, there were certain things you do. I also learned that it's really an opportunity, not only for political intervention or for taking philosophical and theoretical risks, to be innovative, but it was an opportunity, I think, as you say, to create a community, an SAQ community where people felt like, this is a journal I can publish.
Right. So as I understand it, that the original editor, an historian who worked on the history of slavery and race relations, quickly, so in the early 20th century, quickly found himself at odds with North Carolina politicians who were leading a movement to ask for his removal from the faculty at Duke. So in a way, one of the things that seems to me the founding moment of the journal is one of a kind of academic political engagement, and even such that puts the editor in trouble. I'm interested in how that, in what ways we can live up to that founding moment of the journal. And because it's not just, of course, a political engagement, it's one that's grounded in a certain kind of scholarship and academic perspective, but nonetheless with a serious political engagement that can at times cause difficulties. Yeah. So how do you think it is that we can, or that the journal does now, in a way, live up to that legacy?
SAQ has been, and I've said this to myself many times, the most important political thing I've done in this country in the 21 years I've been here. One, I think, is to accomplish some of the things you pointed out, which is to sort of open it to to the world, right? Mm-hmm. People want to read stuff that's going on. We have it. We can be culturally cutting edge. We can be theoretically innovative, philosophically risk-taking, and we're politically on the money. We know what's going on. We address ourselves. Now, clearly, as a quarterly, we can't speak to things that happened yesterday. But in a kind of considered, as you said, academic and intellectual forum, we've been able to do that. And so that's how I've interpreted my responsibility as general editor. Our most successful issues have always been around the most critical and pressing issues. Political events of the day, which is to say, Palestine, America, ambushed. We've been very good about titles. Palestine. What's it? Palestine, America, I think.
Yeah.
Ambushed, descent from the homeland. Those are the kinds of issues that have really sort of generated not only new publics for SAQ, but it's also sort of made us, as I said, a venue for the this place where people think, hey, if I've got a politically cool idea or theoretically interesting, that's the place I'm going to go.